U.S. authorities arrested Los Piratas mastermind Rafael Enrique Gamez Salas, who faces extradition to Chile for leading.
The net of justice is vast. Though its meshes are wide, nothing escapes it. Do you believe that a hidden boss, the man behind the tentacles of the brutal transnational cartel, Los Piratas, could evade punishment forever? Most recently, the world was shaken by the capture of a shadow chief architect right here on U.S. soil, exposing a shocking streak of criminal manipulation. How thrilling was the international coordination process to track down and capture this evildoer? How did the light of justice pierce through the dark night? Let's find out right now if you always believe in the power of truth and justice. Don't forget to hit like, leave a comment sharing your perspective, and subscribe to the channel to accompany us in the next captivating legal case files. On March 13, 2026, an extremely important announcement was officially made to the public by U.S. authorities. This event marks a tremendous turning point in the effort to protect the peace of the international community against hidden threats from the shadows. The main subject in this announcement is a 40-year-old man named Rafael Enrique Gamez Salas. The arrest of this man is not just the execution of a regular arrest warrant, but the result of an incredibly tight and persistent international coordination process. The capture of this subject opens a new chapter in the battle to protect law and order and brings faith to honest citizens. Following an urgent request from the government of the Republic of Chile, U.S. authorities have taken legal measures aimed at extraditing this subject. The ultimate goal is to force him to stand in the dock and face a series of incredibly serious criminal charges. The focus of these charges stems from his leading role in an organization called Los Piratas. This organization is identified as an operational branch extending its tentacles into Chile from a transnational cartel originating in Venezuela. This arrest holds a profoundly deep humanistic meaning as it lifts the veil of secrecy on the dark, hidden corners of society. It shows that no matter how sophisticated the efforts to hide are, the light of justice will ultimately shine through. This is a resounding victory for law enforcement and also a fierce affirmation that evil can never exist eternally. When exploring the suspect's profile, we cannot help but feel sorrow over the wrong choices that led to a long slide into the darkness of sin. This subject was previously known by many different aliases to evade tracking by the authorities. His immigration records and previous legal violations in the United States have exposed a lifestyle that disregards the common rules of the community. His journey is a profound wake-up call for anyone intending to cross the line of honesty and legal discipline. In 2023, this subject was previously deported from U.S. territory due to violations of immigration regulations. However, instead of realizing his mistakes and rebuilding his life, he continued to find ways to exploit loopholes to illegally re-enter once again. His illegal presence was not simply a violation of administrative rules, but also brought along a series of activities that endangered community safety. This reminds us of the importance of maintaining order and discipline in all aspects of social life. The lesson drawn from this chain of behavior is that leniency toward evil sometimes creates opportunities for dangerous seeds to continue to breed and grow. After illegally re-entering, the subject had to face the justice system and was convicted in connection with acts of profiteering on the hardships of others. The trial process and the successive sentences handed to him are proof that the law always has strict mechanisms to protect public order. Every act that sows pain for fellow human beings will be recorded and must face fair judgment. At the time the arrest warrant for extradition was executed, the subject was serving a sentence at a detention facility in the state of California. His legal situation became incredibly complex, as his home country has its own regulations regarding the non-extradition of its citizens. This very factor made keeping him in the United States a crucial link to ensure that the crimes he committed in another country would not sink into oblivion. The execution of justice is not limited by geographical borders, but demands the consensus of all humanity. If you find that these stories about the journey of executing justice bring many useful values for reflection, please hit the like button to spread a positive life message to more people. Your small action will contribute to building a healthy cyberspace where humanistic values and the spirit of the rule of law are highly respected. Let's share these meaningful stories together to remind those around us of the importance of living responsibly and adhering to the moral standards of society. The organization this subject co-directed is known for its alarming expansion and operational methods that seriously affect the peaceful lives of the people. In the South American country of Chile, this operational branch has extended its centipede-like tentacles, weaving into many aspects of social life. The accused subject is the very person behind the scenes, pulling the strings and overseeing every move of this group. Identifying and preventing the growth of such organizations requires an immense level of vigilance and solidarity from the community. According to released records, the subject acted as a chief architect for a series of dark schemes aimed at illicit profiteering. His responsibilities included directly planning and coordinating acts of depriving innocent people of their freedom, property, and even their peace. The sophisticated organizational level of this group is demonstrated through the clear assignment of tasks and the meticulous preparation of necessary resources. This is a profound warning bell that we must not be careless or let our guard down against the increasingly sophisticated tactics of evil forces. At the same time, he was also an incredibly important link in ensuring that illicit finances generated from the pain of others were circulated safely. This money, stained with wickedness, continued to become the nourishment for a broader operational machine, sowing even more tragedies for families. Through this, we can clearly see the importance of eradicating bad habits and vices and not facilitating fraudulent, deceitful behaviors in daily life. Honesty and transparency are the most solid shields protecting the community. Among the series of law-breaking acts he is accused of, there is an incredibly heartbreaking incident that occurred in February 2024. The victim was a military veteran, and the incident left a massive emotional wound on the community in the capital of Chile. This incident highlighted the incredibly sophisticated tactics and the sheer lack of humanity that this group used to achieve their dark goals. It is a sad story that reminds us of the sacred value of human life. According to information released from the investigation process, the subject directly participated in planning incredibly meticulously with scenarios designed to deceive the attention of everyone around. To bypass the security system and the natural vigilance of the citizens they used, vehicles camouflaged to look exactly like law enforcement forces on duty. Exploiting the people's trust in law enforcement to carry out evil intentions is an act that deserves strong condemnation. The profound lesson here is that we always need to cultivate observation and information verification skills in every situation. On a quiet night, they tracked down the victim's residence and executed the act of depriving this person of their freedom in an incredibly sudden manner. Using specialized tools, they shattered the peace of a small apartment and took the victim away to an unknown location. Family members and surrounding neighbors had to endure moments of immense panic and extreme anxiety. This incident reminds us about neighborhood solidarity. Mutual care within the community is the first and most important security network to protect one another. After many days passed without a trace, thanks to an incredibly valuable tip-off from brave citizens, authorities were finally able to find the trail of the ill-fated victim. The search process revealed the incredibly sophisticated efforts of this group to hide the truth, as the scene was carefully camouflaged under solid layers of building materials. Finding the victim at a housing project far away from the initial scene shows cold-blooded calculations to evade legal responsibility. But the truth is always ultimately brought to light. Don't forget to hit the subscribe button so we can continue to accompany each other in meaningful stories and profound humanistic lessons about life and the law in the future. Your support is a massive motivation for us to continue bringing valuable content that contributes to raising community awareness. Let's build a community together of people who love truth and justice and always strive toward the finest values of humanity. The results from the autopsy have shown that the victim had to endure the final moments of life, suffering severe physical and mental trauma. The traces left behind are testaments to cruel acts that go against all human moral values and compassion. The victim's passing is an irreplaceable loss for the family and leaves a massive void in the hearts of those left behind. We need to strongly condemn all forms of violence and together build a society that elevates empathy and love between human beings. The deep root of this heartbreaking incident is also gradually being clarified through the tireless investigative efforts of the authorities. The testimonies and evidence gathered have pointed out that this was not a spontaneous act, but the result of remote directives with meticulous financial preparation. The most ironclad evidence tying the subject to this incident is a conversation that authorities inadvertently recorded. In it, he admitted his coordinating role from orders entrusted by higher-ups. In your opinion, what can each of us individually do to contribute to building a safe community and preventing risks from organized crime? This question demands that each of us self-reflect on our own responsibilities toward our surrounding living environment. Perhaps the best start is by educating our children about compassion, tolerance, and the consciousness of obeying the law from a young age. A generation nurtured in love and understanding will be the most solid fortress against all seeds of evil. The heartbreaking case of the military veteran is just a small part of an incredibly dense indictment that the justice system is waiting to bring to trial. The partner nation's government is making every effort in legal procedures to extradite this subject to force him to face a series of different charges, from establishing illegal operational groups' acts of threatening extortion to incidents that affect the lives and safety of many different victims. Each single charge represents the tears and pain of innocent families. To further strengthen faith in the justice system, the case file also clearly outlines his role in a series of other events causing public disorder. A typical example is an incredibly tense confrontation in mid-2024 that led to the heroic sacrifice of a law enforcement officer. This sacrifice is an epic about the spirit of devoted service to the people, but also an aching pain for the entire society. It reminds us to always cherish and be grateful to those who are silently guarding the peace of the fatherland day and night. The fact that an individual with foreign citizenship not only illegally intruded, but also continued to orchestrate acts of disturbing the peace from afar has caused a strong wave of reaction. U.S. judicial agencies have displayed a zero-tolerance attitude toward these law-defying acts. The representatives of the scales of justice have issued extremely fierce statements affirming the determination to eliminate hidden risks to social safety. The message delivered is very clear that there are absolutely no exceptions for those who so fear. What do you think about the importance of cooperation between countries in solving global security challenges like today? In a flat world where geographical borders are increasingly blurred, crime is also gradually becoming more sophisticated and organized across borders than ever before. Therefore, solidarity, information sharing, and legal support between governments are no longer an option but a vital requirement. Only when nations hold hands tightly to form a legal network without loopholes will the darkness truly be pushed back. A high-ranking representative of the Department of Justice has given incredibly profound assessments on the serious nature of the incident. He emphasized that the presence of this subject is a clear threat to public safety, and his repeat violation of immigration laws is unacceptable. This speech not only demonstrates the determination to suppress wrongful acts, but also carries deep implications about protecting the core values of a nation. He affirmed that the ultimate goal is always to put the safety and happiness of the people in the top position. Sharing the same viewpoint as the above assessments, another representative in charge of the criminal sector also praised the arrest as a symbol of tight cooperation between nations. He delivered a strong message to the whole world that no land can become a safe haven for those who deliberately go against morals and ethics. He also dedicated deep words of gratitude to the officers who had to work exhaustively regardless of day or night to collect every single minor clue. Their dedication is the very flame that lights up faith in the power of justice. How can we educate the younger generation to have a clearer awareness of the boundary between good and evil in a volatile world? This is an incredibly massive concern for educators and parents alike. Perhaps instead of dry theoretical lectures, we need to let children have more exposure to real-life stories about cause and effect and fairness. Guiding them to know how to empathize with the pain of others and appreciate humanistic values will help shape a beautiful and sustainable personality. The journey to bring this subject before the light of international justice has achieved an incredibly significant step forward when the provisional arrest warrant was officially executed. The subject has been transferred into the custody of the authorities to ensure the legal processes take place in the strictest manner. Right on the first day of his court appearance, the decision to continue the remand was issued, demonstrating the maximum caution of the justice system. This complex extradition process is currently being handled by top legal experts with care in every minor detail. The arrest and preparation for the extradition of this subject is not an isolated event, but lies within a large-scale strategy aimed at purifying the social environment. Previously, in 2025, a similar step forward was also successfully taken, paving the way for these subsequent legal collaborations. The fact that those involved in the same heartbreaking case must take turns standing in the dock shows an immutable law of life. That is, wrongful actions, no matter how cleverly concealed over time, will eventually have to face the judgment of conscience and the law. Looking back at the whole incident, this arrest is truly an ironclad cautionary lesson for anyone who is going astray. The smooth coordination between nations shows that acts causing harm to the community will always leave behind indelible traces. Exploiting system loopholes to evade punishment will ultimately have to bow down to humanity's determination to protect what is right. Although the legal journey ahead still needs a lot of time to complete, what has unfolded has marked a tremendous victory for the peace of innocent citizens. The future of a civilized society lies in the hands of each of us when we know how to join hands to nurture the good and resolutely say no to evil.